Hi, I'm Patton Oswalt. We are talking to the women of S.H.I.E.L.D., both in front of and behind the camera. So the thing that I want to ask right off the bat, because you all play such distinctive characters on the show and have such amazing jobs, who would you want to swap roles with at this table? And that includes Marissa, the EP of the show. Would you want her job? Marissa, would you want any of these actors' jobs? And keeping in mind how much abuse they are put through in front of the camera.
Henry.
Oh no! You know, I was going right for you.
Yeah, I think everyone wants your job.
Yeah.
I know, and it's not because of me. It's because of respective fictional
I would switch places with any of you for like a day because I know how grueling it is. I know how hard your guys' job is.
I
mean, no,
yeah,
come on,
really.
Yeah.
But
You're juggling 10 balls.
And what's spectacular is this show's about superheroes, and our boss is really a human superhero.
Yeah.
No,
All of you guys have done your own stunts on this show,
Yes,
and
they have.
and there's there's scenes with May where you can pause it and go, oh, that's Ming-Na is getting thrown around, smashed through that table, kicked in the face. So what has that been like?
It's been incredibly empowering. As I had zero fight training or anything before the show, and even the first season I didn't really do anything. It was really just watching Ming a lot, and you really helped me into it. As you were my trainer on camera,
Right, as
and,
well, yeah.
And a lot of our first fights, we rehearsed.
work together and rehearse.
Yeah.
I mean, we have athletic and other types of training in all our backgrounds, but one of the things that this show has provided us with is learning to do stunt fighting. And that is attributed to our incredible stunt team. The real badass.
My stunt double did stunt for Yo-Yo that just, I was so, and I was so empowered by it because I think it's, again, finding ourselves in the other constantly and being like, oh, she can do that, I can do that too, which is what our show does for kids.
I'm going to go for it too. Because, my stunt double, Ming Q, who actually won Stunt Woman of the Year this year. So proud of her.
Wow.
I mean, she's a wushu master. She trained since she was 3. And she trains me, and sometimes when she has to crash through a glass door, and it's just like, no,
I do think
medic,
women definitely have a higher threshold for pain, and we've showed that on the show.
Because also we do it all in heels.
Okay, so Marissa, tell us about the casting process for each of these characters.
Oh,
Goodness.
You ended up with this group.
We cast a very wide net for all of these roles. Let's start with you, little lady. I had seen her on a few episodes of Nashville, and I thought, and then I looked into you and who you were. Yeah. Oh. But Chloe, as we all know here at this table, has this authenticity that is just palpable and captivating, and she was very young at the time, but we were just
lied about it.
Yeah.
I think I said I was 27.
So drawn to her, and I think you locked it down in your screen test.
Nice. There's nothing to see here, people. Nothing to see.
And for Ming, I had always been a giant fan of Ming-Na Wen. As a young Asian American trying to achieve anything in this business, you are an example of how that is possible. When the original role was Agent Rice. It was called, Agent May used to be named Agent Rice.
right.
Exactly. Yes. So as soon as Ming was in the mix, I was like, not so much with the Agent Rice anymore.
And it took Mo to make that connection too, I think,
it was
right?
instant for me. I was like, guys, she has to have the part. That's it. We're done. We're done, right? Okay, yeah. So it's Ming. And then this lovely lady
was originally Agent Crumpet.
was Agent Crumpet.
Also very problematic.
But there were so many women that were brought to us from the UK. But you and Ian had such amazing chemistry, and just you as a person, just so lovely that.
I feel like I heard a story about the fact that they told you to go and switch lines with Ian. Didn't you do that?
That was my first audition. Josh said, do Fitz's lines instead of Simmons's lines.
Did you come back and just nail
I was
it?
like, I'll just do it. No, it was awful. It was the worst audition.
Obviously not.
It was awful. Every line was
You know what?
rough.
After my first
Never
audition,
seen you be awful.
after my first audition here, I went and cried.
I know. I feel like all of you thought you did something wrong.
So terrible. Yeah.
I was so
And
nervous.
here you are.
I know. It's something to remember.
And you did, and then this one, I had seen just your tape. I had seen your tape, and I was like, that voice, tell me more about her. I love her. She's just inherent. Your strength is just off the charts. And so it was your whole aura and you as Natalia. And I knew that, like, if we could infuse Yo-Yo with that, then we are golden. Yeah.
Now, you guys have created characters who have such deep-rooted backstories that the kind of characters that especially fans are like, well, now what's going to happen to that character in 10 years? So where do you see your characters in 10 years, and what do you hope to see them doing in 10 years? Wow. Like, what is the Cavalry doing 10 years down the road? What is Quake, and what are Quake and Yo-Yo doing?
It's just an interesting question right now because we've done this whole time loop of kind of, I just hope that we've managed to save the world. You don't Quake it apart. Like, you know, we figure out how to, I mean, I think Simmons will be, you know, having babies with Fitz and still like, you know, I just can see them each with kind of like a baby on the front and like still going about with the crazy chemicals and just like, you know, one's crawling around and they just don't even notice.
Little smart babies.
Yeah.
Very smart geniuses. Yeah.
I'll write that down.
I hope Daisy has. I hope she finds. I hope she finds family. I hope she finds someone to love who doesn't die, and I like a peace because I think she has a lot of angst and a lot. I feel like she feels a lot of pressure with the power that she has, and I hope that she's able to kind of hone that and do her job and find boundaries with that and with also having a life and being in love and having a family, because I think there's nothing more powerful than motherhood. So I would hope that someone that goes through what she's been through is able to have a child and teach her child how to, you know.
And what about Yo-Yo and May?
I think, you know, May and Phil have been doing the slow burn for a while. So in 10 years, you know, I hope that maybe they might be holding hands at that point, and
Sam and Diane.
and still yes, and just you know, still handling missions and, you know, kind of like the parents of Spy Kids, but no, much more under the radar, and not, you know, and not allowing anyone else to know what they're doing, but trying to maybe enjoy a little bit of a normal life because they've dedicated their entire lives so much to S.H.I.E.L.D. But anytime they need to go back into mission mode, they do.
I would love to see Yo-Yo mentoring in Humans or having some sort of.
Helping
Because
to guide
this
people.
season I got to do that with Coy Stewart, who plays Flint, and it's been one of my favorite storylines. Just that, again, which is what we talked about as women, giving that to outside women of the show, that representation. But for Yo-Yo to be there for someone that is going through their powers, doesn't understand, and is having a hard time because she didn't get it. She went through it by herself.
Right.
And we see that story in the past episode it was, right? And a couple of episodes ago where Clark directed that. And I love that. So I would love for her to have like a side branch of S.H.I.E.L.D. where they sort of do that kind of mentoring and helping those kids.
How do you think I hate using this phrase, the women of S.H.I.E.L.D., but how do you think the women of S.H.I.E.L.D., both in front of and behind the camera, have broken down barriers in the world of comics and in the world of basically world building, which you've been doing?
Well, for us on our end as writers, it was sort of a no-brainer to assemble a diverse group of strong, complex, kick-ass women who also embrace their vulnerabilities as much as they showcase their strengths. And, you know, given the current climate and the state of things, I do feel that it's so important for the bond between women, which is so powerful. The fact that it's being recognized and heard and celebrated is is wonderful. And I do, if we at all, with these characters and the relationships you have with one another, if we at all can influence how that is celebrated in any way, whether it's small or large, you know, that does matter.
They've been doing it for years, and they don't hold that like their flag, and they're like, oh, look at us. We're, in terms of diversity, in terms of female empowerment, it's more just because that's also who they are. The writers, Mo, Jed, they just...
And I love Jed and Jeff Loeb, but it's really to have Marissa, have a woman
That
in that
sensibility
leadership position. There's a trickle down effect always. You know, there is, and she does it in this amazing, quiet, strong, powerful way. You know, she doesn't have to scream and shout and demand her respect because she has it. She just has
that role model for
you know?
us as well. It's incredibly empowering as someone that, you know, is newer to the industry to have one of my first bosses be a woman. I mean, that's, and for that to be the norm for 5 years is...
And it normally isn't.
No.
And not even the norm just as a boss, but also, I mean, this was obviously, you know, for
I'm gonna
a lot
start
of us.
crying,
This
guys.
was, you were, well, for a lot, you know, you have been a role model of mine for the past 5 years. I said this before, but I was 20 when I started. I'll be 26 now, and we've had this conversation recently, but it's just watching her balance being, Marissa is in each of our characters. Like I see it in the script, I feel it when, you know, there's little bits, she has the strength. And just balancing like work and motherhood, it's just incredible. It's really, really just.
Thanks, guys.
Just
Well, I don't do it alone. I absolutely don't do it alone. You guys are my support system here at work, and I have the great fortune of being the tiny brown woman working with a group of people who also feel the same way about diversity and inclusivity, feel it's as important as I do.
Yeah, we feel that. And it's kind of, it's a magical culture to work in, and that's why we are family and we do hang out all the time, is because it trickles down from how you guys set a tone.
You know, Jed and I have two philosophies. We have a no ass policy, and I know you were an exception.
We meant to tell you. This is your last episode.
And also, we feel that if the work stops being fun, that's when it's time to walk away. And here we are, you know, 5 years later.
Guys, seriously, this is one of the most extraordinary casts on TV. Most fun to watch, most fun to talk to. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Oh, guys, thank you so much. All right. Thanks, fans.